Hey folks, I'm going to be returning to Retro GameCon this year, taking place at the On-Center Convention Center up in Syracuse, New York from October 11th through the 13th. I'm going to be there all weekend, and I'm of course going to be cosplaying there as well. I'm going to be going as Ash Ketchum in his Kalos outfit from Pokemon on Friday. I'm officially bringing back my gender-bent version of Sailor Moon on Saturday. And finally, I'm gonna be debuting Seiya Kanye from Amagi Brilliant Park on Sunday. If by any chance you see me there in person, then by all means come on up to me and say hi. Hope to see you there. Hey guys, this is Ackleyattack4427 here with a brand new thoughts video for all of you guys, and yep, I guess from the looks of it, we're now officially in October as of now, and boy, do we have a lot going on as we speak for sure, because yeah, let me tell you, October is gonna be a pretty busy month for me for sure, right? Like, of course, Retro GameCon coming up next weekend is definitely my main priority as of now, and I'm really excited to see what that will have to offer for sure. To which, by the way, thanks so much for tuning into my promo video that I actually put up not too long ago. It was a lot of fun to actually work on that. So yeah, I guess for the time being, I guess right up until that comes around, I've already got myself a few movies for me to check out for, of course, this month for sure, before we can actually dive right into pretty much what we're going to be in for sure, because yeah, I guess October as of now will give us something rather spooky for sure, seeing of how Halloween is right around the corner for sure. So, but I guess until that comes around, I think it looks like we'll be in for, of course, the first of quite a few movies for me to check out for, of course, this month, because yeah, like I said, I actually got a few that'll keep me occupied for the majority of this month for sure. So I'll be really excited to see, of course, what it will have to offer for sure. So yeah, I guess with that being said, I think we might as well dive right into today's movie that I finally got the privilege to go see very recently for sure, and well, I guess to officially kickstart this month for sure, I guess we're in for a little something that, let's just say, might be a little bit of a return of course, a certain clown from Gotham City. Yeah, given to that hint I've actually just dropped as of now, I think it might give you the clear idea, of course, on what I'm going to be talking about in today's thoughts video for sure. And boy, I guess it's been quite a long time since I've actually dived right into, of course, pretty much this certain movie for sure. So I think now is a good time to revisit this again, but in a rather different direction that we kind of didn't expect for sure. Which is actually saying a whole lot in its entirety, because hey, let's face it, I've seen plenty of other movies that really did take me by surprise for sure. And I guess for the sake of this one, I guess you can make the argument it actually did follow suit on that category for sure, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I guess I shouldn't waste any more time, and I think we might as well dive right into the latest movie that I just got the privilege to go see earlier today. And given to that little hint that I've actually just dropped, I think it might give you the idea, of course, what I'm going to be talking about. But in case you actually don't, I think it's time to pretty much revisiting the ever-popular clown from Gotham City with today's movie that I got the chance to go see, which is none other than Joker Folie Deux. So yeah, that's of course what I'm going to be talking about here today. It's not only the latest film that just came out not too long ago, but a rather surprising big of event for sure. It is, of course, the sequel to the 2019 controversial hit, Joker. So So yeah, that's of course what I'm going to be talking about here today, so yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright. Alright, so yeah, before I could go ahead and talk about this latest movie, I think it makes sense for me to get some things out real quick for sure, So yeah, if you may not recall, years ago in one of my thoughts videos that I did, I actually did talk about Joker going all the way back in 2019 for sure. In fact, it was actually one movie that I did go see as part of a double feature that I did alongside Zombieland Double Tap, which I also did talk about for sure. And to recap my thoughts about it, I actually really do surprisingly like that film for sure. I really do think it actually did an incredible job in getting into a dive of course, pretty much a perspective of course, a well-known Batman villain for sure, which, yeah, I guess it's saying a whole lot because, if anything, out of all the Batman villains that have actually been around for a long time, the Joker is definitely what comes into mind for sure, and that's definitely saying a whole lot. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I could say, of course, that front. So yeah, either way, I actually do think Joker is definitely a really solid movie all the way. Mixed in with, of course, a really great performance that we actually got from Joaquin Phoenix as Joker himself, or I guess in the case of the movie, Arthur Fleck. So yeah, I guess either way, pretty much of anything, I do think it's actually a brilliant movie to check out for sure. Just basically pretty much taking a deep dive into, of course, a well-known Batman villain, but also mixing in with some well-known Martin Scorsese films for sure, particularly Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. So yeah, and of course, if anything, my point still stands since after I rewatched that movie after I got it on Blu-ray some time ago for sure. So yeah, either way, I do think it's actually a really good movie for sure, and of course, I even did recall placing it in, of course, on my list of my favorite movies from 2019 for sure. But then again, that was probably just about 5 years ago when I actually did talk about the first Joker movie for sure. So yeah. But I guess if anything, my old thoughts video that I did on that said movie will definitely get you the idea, of course, what I'm actually talking about for sure. So yeah, I guess either way, I think I definitely do think it's one movie that is definitely well worth the watch, despite all the massive controversy actually got for sure. So yeah. But I guess, needless to say, after all that, when I actually heard the news that they were going to be doing a sequel to that said movie, honestly, I did kind of get a little bit concerned at first, because if anything, I think pretty much, if anything, I do side with the filmmakers and think that the movie is just fine on its own, and we didn't need a sequel to that whatsoever. But at the same time, I'm actually opened up to the idea and see what kind of direction they decide to go on, of course, this one, because yeah, there's a lot of good ideas that you can actually do beyond the first movie for sure. So yeah, and of course, hearing the news that it's going to be a musical. Honestly, I think I'm not sure on how that will also work, hands down, but hopefully I think it might give us something good, because if anything, I really do think there might be something rather unique to the idea of course, making pretty much a musical during pretty much like a full-on sequel to a Joker for sure. So yeah, and I guess for pretty much for what it is, I think there might be something quite interesting with that. And when I saw the trailers, I was actually opened up to, of course, on what they're going to do for, of course, that one for sure, because if anything, I know part of me pretty much want to expect the warning signs going into, of course, this one, but I'm a little optimistic at the same time, and think they might give us something interesting for sure. So yeah. I think it's pretty much what I could say, of course, that front. So yeah, with that being said, I did manage to take the time and officially go and see this movie for myself, all thanks to the kind people at Crown City Cinemas, as always. So yeah, I honestly don't know what to expect for sure, and not to mention a review-wise, as of now, the critics have been absolutely tearing this movie apart for sure. I was like, wow, so... But hey, I still want to give it a fair shot and just to see on how it might actually fare up for sure. So of course, I did manage to get myself in earlier today to officially go and see this movie for myself. And well, now that I've officially got back from, of course, seeing it, I guess a lot of you guys may be wondering, what do I think of this movie now that I finally got the chance to see it? Well, you remember when I said that this film has been getting pretty much mostly negative reviews from critics? Well, to be honest, I can definitely see why for sure. I mean, I think it is pretty much for what it is. I do think this film is definitely underwhelming and disjointing for sure, but to me, it's not all bad for sure. I mean, I do like the ideas they decide to go for, but I just really don't think it actually is executing properly in some areas for sure. So yeah, I can't say this movie is that bad for sure, but it's not great either. I definitely am kind of split down the middle and kind of mixed, of course, at this one. And I guess in comparison to, of course, the first film, this, yeah, I can definitely side with plenty of other people who saw it, and definitely think this film is massively weak for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what I could say, of course, on that front for sure. So yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright, so now that I've got the short version out of the way, I guess I'll go ahead and talk about everything that I need to talk about for sure. For starters is, of course, the story, and honestly, to me, on paper, I do think there is something rather interesting for sure. Just pretty much trying to go for what this movie is actually going for, hands down, in terms of its story. I think you can do something actually rather quite interesting for sure while picking up where the first film left off for sure, and actually expand upon it to actually make it interesting. So that's what I think of the film's story on paper, while in execution, on the other hand, well, I think some parts of it they actually did handle quite well, but others I just really don't think is actually done properly, in my opinion, for sure. Like, there are some massive bumpy roads that need to be smoothed over, but I think it just didn't know how to for sure, or even better yet, I think it's pretty much like a full-on gardening for sure. Like, you can actually do something great and actually make it look fantastic for sure, and that did happen on one side, yes, while the other just kind of feels pretty much not really as balanced for sure to really make it all the more gorgeous for sure. So yeah, I guess if anything, story-wise, as of now, yeah, does have some good ideas on paper, while in execution, I really don't think it actually pretty much flowed out quite well for sure. And yeah, I guess either way, I really do think they could have actually done something to really try to fix things up for sure, where of course they actually hit some massive bumps for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for the story for sure. Now, as for the film's writing, I have to say, well, that too, I will have to say, I really don't think it's actually executed properly for sure. I really do have a strong, pretty much a strong feeling that pretty much the people who crafted this movie just probably, I think, does have some really great stuff they want to add in, but I think it just didn't know how to actually give us some of the great stuff properly for sure. And in the end, I think it kind of feels like a little something that that was, of course, thrown in at the last minute for sure to really make it pretty much all the more sloppy for sure. But not all of it, hands down. I do know in some parts they actually did handle it quite well for sure. But yeah, the rest I will have to say I just really didn't think worked quite well in my opinion for sure. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I can say for the story and the writing for, of course, this movie for sure. Probably, I guess, a great example of course, great on paper, but pretty much horribly executing for sure. So yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright. Alright, so now that I've actually got those two out of the way, I guess I'll go ahead and talk about the next couple of things I need to talk about, which are, of course, the characters. And, well, I guess in all honesty, I think with what I've actually seen in, of course, this movie, I really do think the characters are actually handle quite fine, of course, this film for sure. I think with, of course, what I've actually seen by far, some of the ones that I've actually know of in the first film have actually been given some pretty nice development for sure, while some of the new ones, well, I think I actually do think are actually clever introductions for sure. I really do think they actually did try their best to utilize the characters quite well, and I think this movie, if I do have anything positive to say, is that I really do think this movie really did handle the characters quite well for sure. Yeah, I mean, they're not all great for sure. In fact, if anything, you could have actually done something to make them all the more likable and interesting for sure. But I guess if anything, I do think they're fine for what they are. I think they're fine characters for sure. Nothing that will actually get me hooked on for sure. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I can say for, of course, the characters for sure. While the actors that came on board to play all these characters, yeah, I guess I will have to say, I think they actually did give off some pretty fine performances for sure. I think they're not all great, pretty much, it's not great acting by all means, but I do think it is standard enough to the point where, yeah, it actually does get a free pass for sure. Like, of course, Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck, aka Joker, I still think actually stood out quite well. He really did a fantastic job to make the character work for sure. Just juggling between both sides of him for sure, to which, honestly, to me, I don't think that's pretty much what comes into mind when I think of the first film for sure. I do think it's actually pretty much the first film is just Arthur Fleck, starting off as just Arthur Fleck, but as time progresses, he actually does start to become the Joker that we all know and love for sure. So I think it's basically that growth in the first film that really made stood out quite well, in my opinion. But I guess for what it is, I really do think Joaquin Phoenix actually did pull off Joker quite well, and of course this film for sure. And not to mention Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, I will have to say, I do think is actually a really nice choice for sure. I really do think she actually did portray her character quite well, to be honest. I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking or fantastic like, say, Margot Robbie in the DC Extended Universe for sure, but I do think Lady Gaga's portrayal of Harley Quinn, I do think is actually quite fine for sure, and something that I can actually really get a grasp on for sure. So yeah, and even the relationship between our two main leads, I know a lot of people are saying that it's not really as gripping for sure, but to me, I do think he actually does work just as fine in this film for sure. So yeah, I think it's almost like pretty much like every single interpretation of course, the relationship between the Joker and Harley Quinn in its entirety. It's not really the best relationship. In fact, it's actually more toxic for sure. But of course, you do get a full understanding in its entirety and want to actually see them together. And I think he actually does showing, of course, this film for sure, but only for some brief moments in its entirety for sure. But I do think he actually worked just as fine here for sure. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I can say for the characters and the actors for sure. If you actually get what I'm saying, so yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright. Alright, so yeah, I guess if anything, now that I've got those two out of the way, what else is there for me to talk about? Well, actually, quite a whole lot for sure, and since I did mention that they wanted to go the musical route with, of course, this film, let's go ahead and talk about the musical numbers for sure. And honestly, to me, I think pretty much for what it is, I think you can actually do a musical pretty much incorporate into this film just well for sure. In fact, I think you could do something quite creative for sure, like maybe go the jukebox musical route for starters, and actually incorporate songs that could actually tie into the plot for sure, or of course, you can actually write your own songs for sure to make it work in its entirety. So that's why I think pretty much even before this movie came around for sure. And well, I guess to me, I think for the choice in the musical numbers for sure, well, they're not all bad for sure, but I do think the biggest problem that I do have sometimes with, of course, bad musicals in its entirety is that I do felt that pretty much for bad musicals, it would actually have the tendency to incorporate songs that almost like has nothing to do with the plot whatsoever, and just by looking at it, it'd be like, Jesus Christ, stop! Continue on with the story. I want to see what goes on. So yeah, if you actually try to incorporate songs into, of course, your movie that actually derails the story altogether, I think you're going to be left with something that wouldn't actually get you hooked on for sure. And I do think that's the case for the musical numbers, and of course, this movie for sure. I mean, they're not bad choices by all means. In fact, if anything, I could actually see something work quite well, and of course, this one. But I really do personally think that they pretty much they almost kind of pretty much have nothing going on with the story for sure. And it doesn't really connect a whole lot with everything that I'm actually seeing for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say for the musical numbers, and even the tongue atmosphere for sure. Well, I think I will give it credit that it is, of course, pretty much exactly like what I'm actually seeing with the first film for sure. In fact, I think they actually did handle the look and the feel of it quite well for sure. But I think it does have the tendency to juggle all over the place, and of course being dark and serious and be a pretty much a full-on musical the next, and I really had a hard time following suit on both of those for sure. And even the pacing, I really do kind of felt is massively off for sure. Like, of course, you would actually pretty much see something that is, of course, pretty much slow-paced for sure, to which it actually does work quite well. And even a few select number of areas that do tie into, of course, everything that goes on with, of course, this film. I really do think it actually really did pretty much, I think it really got me hooked on and think to myself, okay, yeah, I like what they're going for. I want to see what comes next. But when, of course, it needs to do something fast-paced, pretty much at the next moment, that's where I do think the pacing in this film actually kind of derails for sure. So So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I can say for those in a nutshell for sure. And of course, the direction of this film from, of course, Todd Phillips for sure. Well, I really do like, of course, what he's actually gone for with, of course, the first Joker movie for sure. But I guess for the sake of this film, I really don't know what goes on behind the scenes. In fact, if anything, I did kind of read up that I think he pretty much was completely stressed out with everything that he had to work on for, of course, this one that's really giving him a hard time. And I think it really does showing, of course, with his direction, of course, this film for sure. I really do think that he really could have actually pretty much putting a lot more hard-working effort to into his directing for sure. But I think he I think it almost kind of feels like he's not on his game with, of course, this one for sure. That really does kind of suck, to be honest. I really do think it could have actually been something great for sure. And, of course, for the cinematography, I will have to say, well, I guess for what I understand, I do think this film is actually shot well with some really great camera shots for sure, through some great cinematography for sure, and not to mention the lighting I have to say that they incorporate in. I really do think it actually pretty much it is utilized quite well, and I really do get a good pretty much a sense on part of the film's tonguing atmosphere for sure. Something like that I actually do think I can actually spot very easily, kind of like what I've actually witnessed with the first Joker movie, and I really do think they utilize that quite well for sure. I really do like the nice sense of lighting they did to go alongside with the great cinematography they actually pulled off, and of course this one for sure. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I can say on that front. And oh yeah, even the editing I have to say, well, I think I will have to say that pretty much, if anything, it's not all bad for sure. In fact, I do think there are some things that are cut up quite well, while others I really don't think actually are cut up quite well and could have used a little tweaking here and there for sure. But that's just me talking for sure. I do think it's actually fine for what it is for sure. So yeah, I guess with all that said and done, those are pretty much all what I could say for, of course, this movie in a nutshell. So yeah. Alright. Alright, so yeah, I guess with all that said and done, that's pretty much everything that I need to say about this movie. So yeah, overall, honestly, to me, I think overall, what is Joker Folie Deux actually does have some great ideas that they want to present for sure. But I think at the same time, it just kind of falls flat in, of course, what it's actually done for sure. To which, if anything, I guess for what it is, I think I really do think it actually did result in what I think, in my opinion, is not really a great film by all means, but I don't think it's awful at the same time for sure. I think it just kind of feels me feeling a little eh. So yeah, I think it's probably the best way I can actually put it for sure, and yeah, I guess either way, pretty much for some parts they actually really did utilize some great ideas quite well for sure, while at the same time I do kind of feel pretty underwhelmed with, of course, what I'm actually seeing by far, and I think it's actually a rather disappointing one for sure, that I really do think it could have actually been a whole lot better. In fact, if anything, maybe I guess with a little fine tuning and maybe some fix-ups here and there, I really do think we could have actually gotten a much better flick for sure. And it is such a shame because, if anything, I really do want to see, of course, pretty much what other direction they're going to go for sure for, of course, this film, because, if anything, a sequel to Joker might have a lot of possibilities for sure. You could do something cool and amazing with, of course, pretty much this idea for sure. But I guess at the end of the day, it really kind of left me feeling a little disappointed with what I'm actually seeing, but at the same time, with some of the good stuff that I've actually talked about, and of course this one, I can't say this film is actually terrible for what it is in its entirety for sure. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I could say on, of course, that front. I can't say this film is actually great, but I really don't think it's actually terrible at the same time for sure. I'm kind of split down the middle, of course, of this one, and I guess with the terrible reviews that the critics are giving, and a lot of people pretty much saying publicly about this film and saying how terrible it is, to be honest, I can definitely see why for sure, and yeah, part of me actually wants to agree hands down, but again, I think given to what I've actually said, like I said, I really don't think this film is awful for what it is, but it's not great either. I am kind of mixed at best with, of course, this film for sure. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I could say, of course, that front. I really don't think it's actually one that I could recommend hands down, but I guess if anything, if you are looking for a movie that might actually that I know hands down might not give you such a good time for sure, but you still want to see a little something that could actually give you something that might leave you kind of having the same reaction that I am, then I say this film is actually a fine one to check out. But I guess for me and everyone else, if I wanted to stick with something of course, one of the greatest Batman villains of all time, I think I'm pretty much going to rather stick to watching the first Joker movie hands down for sure, because if anything, I think the film itself is fine on its own. You don't need to do a sequel on it for sure, so yeah, I think that's probably the best way I can actually say about this film for sure, So yeah, because yeah, trust me when I say that, I think pretty much of anything after coming out, of course, this film, let's just say that this is definitely one film that is certainly no laughing matter, so yeah, that's pretty much the best way I can actually say about this film for sure, so yeah. And I guess with that being said, I guess for my final score, I'm pretty much going to have to give this film like a 5 out of 10 as my final score. Like I said, I can't say this film is awful by all means, but it's not great either for sure. I'm kind of mixed at best with, of course, this one, but given to pretty much what a lot of people have been saying about this film for sure, I can actually agree for the fact that in comparison to the first Joker movie, this one is indeed probably the weakest one by far for sure, and yeah, trust me when I say that, I guess this is certainly one film that I will not be putting on a happy face anytime soon, so yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright, so I guess with all that said and done, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, this film as a whole, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this latest thoughts video, and by all means, I want to ask all of you guys, what do you think of Joker Folie Deux, if you've actually seen it for yourself, for sure? Do you absolutely really enjoyed it and think it's actually, by all means, great, and think it's a really nice follow-up for sure? Or do you actually side with the critics and the audience and say this movie is terrible, and I think you're better off rewatching the first Joker movie for sure? Or are you like me and you thought this movie was for what it is? Like, it's not by all means great, but it's not terrible either. You're kind of leaving yourself split down the middle, of course, this one, but can actually agree this is indeed the weakest one by far, so yeah, that's what I want to know. So yeah, let me know what you thought of this movie in the comments down below. I would love to see what you guys think for sure, So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Thank you guys so much for watching this latest thoughts video, and Well, now that I finally got that out of the way, I'll be quite curious to see on what the rest of this month will have to offer for sure. So yeah, I don't know what to expect for the other two movies I'll check out soon for sure. But hopefully it might give us something interesting for sure. But until that comes around, I gotta get myself prepped up for Retro GameCon coming up next weekend. So yeah. And of course, like I said, to any people that are actually going to that convention, then by all means coming up to me and say hi. I would definitely love to see you there. But until that, and right up until I'll come back from my convention, all I can say until then is thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.
Special thanks to all of my supporters on Patreon for making today's video possible, including my top tier supporters for this month, VD. So if you want to be like these guys and show your support to us, then go to patreon.com/AckleyattackTV to pledge now, do so, and get some awesome rewards within your budget. Hey guys, this is Ackleyattack4427 here. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Feel free to like, comment, and share if you enjoy what you're seeing. If you like what you see here and want to see more videos coming up, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and switch on the notification bell to get notifications and select all notifications to be notified for when we post a new video. And don't forget to switch on notifications on your phone as well. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel and our 2-member channel with Sam the Thomas Fan 1, SamAttack4427's Productions for plenty more content you can't find on here. You can check both of our channels out with the links or by our handles provided on screen. Feel free to shoot me an email with my email address provided, backley95@hotmail.com, if you want to ask me a question, want to collab with me for a project you've got in the works, or if you want to book me to be featured for a convention coming up. Follow me on my social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up to date with me on updates, announcements, and new releases of my videos, as well as plenty of others I've got with my handles provided, as well as the links down in the description box below. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok for other videos I've got aside from the ones I've posted on YouTube, and on Twitch for any future live streams I've got coming up soon, as well as join our official Discord server to see what we've provided. If you wish to show your support to me, then feel free to check out my Patreon to get sneak peeks of my videos coming up before they go up online, as well as getting access to updates and playing more in addition to getting some awesome rewards within your budget. Also, don't forget to check out and show your support to me on my wishlist on Amazon, and even supporting me at streamlabs.com/AckleyattackTV/tip that you can find in the description box below, as well as on my Twitch page. And in case you can't find any of the links that are provided, then not to worry about a thing. All the links and stuff are also provided on my link tree that you can also find in the description box below, as well as a few selected number of my social media pages. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Take care.